And a good Thursday night to you, live from Lanier Raceplex here in the Brazelton, Georgia area. The Extreme East BTV and the Coast to Coast Racing Network present another edition of Thursday Night Thunder. Our modifieds, the small blocks, the big blocks are getting ready to go racing here at this fun little track right across from Road America. Also got another race up for grabs that's fun. It's Xfinity Trail night tonight at the Lady in Black. The track too tough to tame, Darlington Raceway. It's throwback weekend here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. So glad you could join us, everyone. Marty Sakala with you. Thank you all for joining in here this evening. 8 races so far in the books for Monday for Thursday Night Thunder. As this is actually correction, 7 races in the book. We had the drop week a couple weeks ago from Charity Night. But 7 races in the books. Here are how your point standings look coming on in. And these are without the drop, so everything currently as we speak is unofficial. Joseph Grandy currently leads Brian Lawson up 10 points as things stand at the moment. Dean Reynolds just a point behind Lawson. He's 11 points back. Brandon Templeton 4th in points, 32 back. Jeff Barker is 5th, 36 points back. We've got a good car count here this evening. Everyone will make the show. So with that being said, we're going to get down right into business with heat races. It's 3:58 time. The 3:58s are brought to you by Venom Racing. Heat race number 1 is brought to you by Flatline Racing, body quality racing bodies produced by former NASCAR regional short track champ Dan Chapman in the iRacing hotbed of Clarence, Iowa. Here's how lineup looks for heat number 1 this evening. The Brewer to Beast, Jeff Barker is supposed to start on pole. He goes to the rear. Actually, excuse me, Barker does start on pole, but looking at David Tormasci, who starts from the rear. That moves Anthony Morano up to the outside of row number 1. David Tormasci and John Krupa, row number 2. And then in row 3, Randy Shreves, Brian Lawson, Jeff Sharp, Michael Vecchio round out the field. Here's how our normal night of Thursday Night Thunder goes. Of course, all the drivers, their heat lineups determined by pill draw. If we have a field over 24, top 4 will transfer out of the 8-lap heat. One will make the field though regardless. Bottom rest of the field normally go down to a B main. That's set for 10 laps. We'll then have a 3-minute warm-up. Tonight's features and the small and big blocks are set for 30 laps. Winner of this heat race starts on pole position. We're glad you could join us on this Thursday night. Let's get down to business, shall we? Morano and Barker side by side off of turn number 2. The 32 just barely with the slight advantage. John Krupa and Brian Lawson door panel to door panel for the 3rd spot. Lap number 1 in the books, and it's just about dead even. Morano in the edge of the line. Lawson, contact with Graham. Up the track they go. It's 4 wide down the back here at Lanier. That is definitely possible to do, but it can sometimes end in disaster. We nearly saw it, but John Krupa, the biggest loser in the 98, goes all the way down to 7th. Tormasci in the 3rd spot. Races on for 4th between Lawson and Sharp, but we still have that great battle for the lead between Morano and Barker. Take you for a brief ride on board with the number 32. You can see Barker so much better on quarter entry. Of course, we mentioned as always with these 358s, this is a momentum-based car. The outside works very well off of turn number 2. And the leaders just staying side by side is just bringing Tormasci in a little bit closer. Last time by, Tormasci set the quickest lap of this heat race at a 15:01. That 3:13 is coming. 2 to go in our heat. It's going to come down to the wire here between Barker and Morano. And Tormasci may get a run off of turn 4. Right, white's in the air. 1 lap to go. And it's going to come down to Barker and Morano. Can Barker clear the 32? If he slide jobs him, I think he's got it off of turn number 4. Get the photo finish cam ready. Who's going to win this opening heat race? It's Jeff Barker over Morano. Barker takes it by 0.04 of a second. Tormashi and Lawson round out the top 4. Great start to the action tonight, I should say. So now we move on to heat race number 2. Heat race number 2 is brought to you by Langdon Mechanical, based in the Hamilton area. They're the second to none heating and air conditioning company in the area and promise our customers our own professionally trained Langdon specialists will be there personally every step of the way. We guarantee your customer satisfaction from start to finish, including sales, installation, maintenance service of your heating and or cooling system. Every equipment sale, installation, maintenance service call we make is backed by 100% by Langdon. Here's how the starting lineup looks. On the front row, it's Jason Butterfield in the 93 and Bob DeGood in the 7. Row number 2, Alex Pavolo in the 397 and 100 grand points leader Joseph Grandy in the 518. Row number 3 is the high side banger, Patrick Spangler in the 39 and Gary Sigelkow in the 25. Rounding out the field is Cody Graham in car number 2. Let us know who you're rooting for in the chat this evening. Hello to Jaywood, who is rooting for Randy Shreves. As we're set for heat race number 2, winner of this heat starts next to Jeff Barker on the front row. Butterfield gets away with the jump. He clears DeGood off of turn 2. Grandy looks to thread the needle. 3 wide for P2. DeGood up on the cushion. Pablo looks to get to bite of the apron. Contact with Grandy. Gets him sideways. Up in the air and around goes Spangler. Hell start from the rear. Cody Graham also got a piece of it. Their 3-way battle for second breaks out. Not too much damage I see off of the Training Wheels Racing 518 ride. So everyone is good at the moment, but this is the side-by-side race for P3. On board with Bob DeGood as Grandy just about clears entering turn 1. Now Pamela looks to close in on Butterfield, but last time by the 93 with the much better lap of 14:25. We did see a race for a little bit between Graham and Sigelkow. Graham was able to make the pass for the 5th spot, up 2 spots early. Butterfield increasing it by nearly a 1/10 a lap. So consistent laps by all the drivers here at the moment. That's what normally happens when the drivers have fixed setups on these things. But also look how slick this track has gone. Going into turn number 3. It's slicker on entry than it is on corner exit from what we are seeing as things speak. Best races for second. Pomelo and Grandy are on board with 397. Final lap underway in heat race number 2. It's Jason Butterfield in the Apex 93. Starts outside of row number 1. Pablo Grandy DeGood, your top 4. Hello to Megan watching in chat as always. She's rooting for Dino and Buddy. Now we move on to heat race number 3. Heat 3 brought to you by Magnum Racing, or Phenom Racing, correction. Phenom Racing, official sponsor of the Coast to Coast 358s. Starting lineup looks like this. GJ Boydell on pole position. Probably very happy with a sigh of relief now that his Maple Leafs are now down 2 games to Florida, but still Panthers can win the next game to take it all. He has to start for the rear though. That puts Butch Baker next to Logan Wentz. That's row number 1. Row number 2, Joe Masso, part of the Graham Racing squad, or the Moose squad, next to the 126 of Tanner Purcell. Row number 3, Dean Reynolds and Jacob Masso. GJ Boydell rounds out the field. Roger has been talking about it a lot in the Coast to Coast Racing Lounge, but the Massos, I believe that's what we're calling them now, the Moose Crew. Green flag is out. Heat 3 underway. Nearly 3 wide in the turn 1. Dean thought about it, going 2 for 1, but now Purcell stuck in the middle. He's got to run underneath Butch Baker. A wild grab schnob for this race lead, but Baker leads lap 1. You watch Wentz and Purcell, door panel to door panel for the second spot. Logan Wentz down a spot early, but this time it's Masso 3 wide. Dean Reynolds looks to try and find a way to go 2 for 1. Look at how sideways, but Wentz goes up the racetrack. What an angle we had there with Dean's shot. That cost him a bunch of spots. He's down to 6. Boydell made the pass for the 5 spot, and he could lose the 6 spot to Jacob Masso. Purcell last time by, best lap that he has had today at a 14:48. Quickest lap of anyone still belongs to Butch Baker to 14:40, and he tries to pull away. Purcell looking for moisture on the low line, exiting turn number 2. It just doesn't seem to work out well for him. 3 to go. Reynolds throws the elbow, sends it way deep into Masso, and a pileup breaks out. And somehow Logan Wentz is the first one to get through it all. We've got 2 to go. It's going to be 1 to go at the line. Here's a quick look at what happened on the Malcolm's replay. I think Reynolds came in just a little bit too deep. He did. Just couldn't let off in time, and into the 63 he went. But again, everyone makes the feature no matter what. So here comes Butch off at turn number 4. Butch actually takes the checkered flag, not as the leader technically, but he still gets it. He didn't take the checkered flag when he was blinking. Purcell second, Wentz third, Boydell fourth. And so now we move to the warm-up watch. Warm-up time brought to you by Ohsweken Speedway. We'll step aside. First feature coming up in just a moment on the Coast to Coast Racing Network.
How about the reverse for Lucy Olson? She has her first point.
Yeah, Lucy Olson, talented sophomore.
Coast to Coast Racing Network. Moments away from our first feature of the evening. Joe Masso currently quickest in the 63, the 14.533. Randy Shreves is second with the 14.538. But we're set to go. First feature of the evening around the corner. Let's meet the field in the Super Dirt Car Series starting lineup. On the front row, the Brute Beast, Jeff Barker in the 513 and Jason Butterfield in the 93. Row number 2, Butch Baker in the 97 and Anthony Morano in the 32. Row number 3, Alex Pomelo in the 397. Tanner Purcell in the 126. Row 4, David Tormasci in the 313 and 100 grand Joseph Grandy in the 518. Row 5 is Logan Wentz in the 118 and Brian Lawson in the 9. And in row 6, Bobby Good in the 7 and G.J. Boydell in the 014. Rest of the grid looks like this. Row number 7, Jeff Sharp in the 28 and Cody Graham in the 2. Row 8, Jacob Masso in the 61 and Randy Shreves in the 56. Row 9, Gary Sigelkel in the 25 and Dean Reynolds in the 79. Row 10, John Kruger in the 98 and the high side banger Patrick Spangler in the 39. Row 11 rounding out the field, Joe Masso in the 63 and Michael Vecchio in the James Bond 007. "30 laps the distance here at Lanier. For the 358 modifieds, we've got the big blocks coming up in just under a half hour from now. Let us know your pick to win in the chat. Steve King Foundation Pace Car. It's about to pull into pit road. Isaac Salas is watching, rooting for Venom Racing. But we're glad you could join us. It's time for the Lucy Olson start. Barker and Butterfield bring us to the green flag. We're underway. Start of the race brought to you by Lucy Olson. Barker with the early lead. Can he clear Butterfield off of turn number 4? The answer is yes. The Brute Beast leads lap number 1. Morano and Baker are door panel for the 3rd spot. You see Morano working upstairs, tries to follow Butterfield's path. That's to make sure he just does not get in the way. Baker edges out Morano for the 3rd spot. Behind them, it's Pomelo and Purcell for P5. Purcell can't do anything about it. Maybe possibly split the middle on him, and the 32 of Morano doesn't work. They stay side by side to turn number 1. Purcell now up the gut, 3 wide for the 4th position. And Purcell goes 2 for 1 as he takes the 4th spot away. Behind them, Joseph Grandy, Brian Lawson. Race out for the 7th spot. Your top 2 in standings without the drops coming on into the weekend. Barker currently with the lead. 4/10 of a second is the gap. Currently on Jason Butterfield, Butch Baker, Tanner Purcell, Alex Pomelo round out the top 5. This is the best battle everyone's watching. And from the looks of it, Morano is the lane nobody wants to be in. Everyone wants to work that low line in, but it could get too slick where drivers would have to go up to the high side. See, no one really wants to take that risk in dusting the top off. But Morano currently in no man's land. He started from the 4th spot. He is down to 6th. This is the battle everyone's watching, Morano against Grandy. Now you start to see Pomelo close in on Tanner Purcell. It would be a race for the 4th spot. Got a race for 13-2. Let's focus on that. Jacob Masso up to 13th over Cody Graham. Not a lot of passing we're seeing at the moment. The biggest mover is only up 2 spots at the moment. And the one that would get the hard charger is Tanner Purcell up in 4th. Let's go to the Morano Grandy show once again for P6. Meanwhile, Jason Butterfield has chipped on Jeff Barker's lead just a teensy bit. Gap is now 0.3 of a second, and yellow lights are on for the first time. Joe Masso and Jeff Sharp around. That is in turn 2. And Joe Masso has lost the front bumper. Or I should say the front end of that Bicknell chassis. Let's look at the Malcolm's replay. First caution of the evening. Brought to you by the Salty Dogs. 61 got sideways. Sharp checked up and nowhere to go was the 63. Barker with just a teensy bit of front end damage as you ride on board with him. You see, I think the 61 of Jake Masso made contact with Bob DeGood, and that's what lent Sharp to gain on the Bonders and having nowhere to go. So he'll use the quick repair. Lights are off the Steve King Foundation pace car. We go back green this time by. We will watch this first Mission 22 restart of the day from the Young Gun Creations drone. Barker to bring the field back to green. 11 laps are in the books. And a huge checkup. Purcell ran the back of someone as Barker holds serve. One guy on the extreme high side, and that is Morano in the 32. He lost his spot to Brian Lawson, but it is an accordion session off of turn number 4. 5 wide they just did for, I think, the 9th position. I said we could rarely do 4 wide. They just did 5 wide from the Young Gun drone at Lanier. Check up, Grandy throws the bumper at Alex Pablo, and the race is on for 4. A little bit of paint scraping in turn number 1. Purcell tries to throw the chrome horn at Brian Lawson. Look out, Pablo nearly squeezes Morano in the wall. Everybody saves it for now. Baker has started to close in on Butterfield for the 2 spot. Butterfield can feel that pressure. You're on board with Jason. Does Butchie take a peek underneath? He does, just for now. Trying to see if he can hold her low line better. It's a lot similar to Jeff Barker's line. Last time by, we were halfway. 15 up, 15 down. Now it's 16 down and 14 up. Baker underneath Butterfield for the 2 spot. Nearly gets underneath to make the pass work. Back on board with Butchie. Grandy a half second back in the 4th position. Let's look at the races on back. Morano still the only guy working on the cushion, hoping it comes in, but it's not really coming in to his end, but he is dusting the top off. You can see it's a lot different compared to how it was when we took the green flag. Gap remains at 0.2 of a second. Butterfield wants to work the middle lane to go for the race lead. Up the track he goes. Second groove. Does this help out Baker too, possibly? We'll see what goes down as they make their way into turn number 1. 11 laps to go. Baker with a run underneath on Butterfield for P2. May have to get back out of the gas for just a little bit. Butterfield so good in the entry of the corners. I think Barker just has the better bite, but the caution flag is out. Second yellow of the day. Cody Graham and Bob DeGood, and Graham, oh no! Too much throttle on it, and he puts it on 2 wheels. He's gonna crab walk. This is where he's got to tow it, and he will. Rear suspension just lost traction there. Pull up the Malcolm's replay. Second Salty Dog yellow of the day. This is on board with Graham. That's DeGood in front of him. And too much gas in the back of Bob DeGood. Around they went. It was just angled. At a point is which Graham couldn't really do anything about it. Graham just ran to the back of DeGood. Reynolds just barely escapes danger. I think when DeGood got underneath the rear of Graham, that's when the suspension damage happened. Look at that rear end. It was just all angled up. Single file rest of the race as we do have under 10 laps to go. Definitely what Jeff Barker wants, but watch Jason Butterfield closely as we come back to the green flag. 9 laps of racing to go at Lanier. Barker holds serve. Morano still the first one up on the top. Butterfield loses about a car length off of turn 2. Oh, look how big stack up. Lawson is around. No caution somehow. I think it's because Lawson's in the pits. Somehow we stay green. And the gap between Baker and Grandy is 1.3 seconds. We'll see what happens in just a bit. Lawson is slow, way off the pace. Stacks up Barker. Here comes Butterfield for the lead. No yaw in turn 1. He stays tucked right behind Jeff. But now could have a run up on that second groove. 6 laps to go at Lanier. Bob DeGood has crashed. No caution. We stay under the green flag for now. Butterfield up to the quarter panel of Jeff Barker, but Barker sends it in. Bob DeGood blows the engine, and the caution is out. Just in the nick of time. He was way too slow. He's lost the front nose clip. But that was getting good in a hurry. Let's show you what happened. First off with Bob DeGood. Now, I don't know if this was the cause because he was too slow or what. Oh, he got the wall, wrapped it. Oh! We've seen sprint cars hit that opening, and it's not pretty. Lost the hood scoop. Yeah, that was a caution flag without question. That was a great call by iRacing. And we also had Brian Lawson. We'll show you this here, too. Somebody had to hit somebody in front. Oh, man. Pomelo got Morano, and then Purcell caught Lawson. How this wasn't a caution, I have no idea. But we've got a 5-lap shootout to determine who wins this one. Third Salty Dogs yellow is in the books. Here we come to the Mission 22 restart zone. Green lights are back on. Can Barker do it? This would be a pretty cool win if the Bruton Bees can get this done. But Butterfield is right behind on the tail looking for his first. Butterfield's best finish of the season, third at I-55. 4 laps to go to determine who wins this one. Jeff Barker has never won in the 358 Modified Series in Thursday Night Thunder. Could that possibly change today? Jason Butterfield hasn't won either. Butch Baker hasn't either. Your top 3 looking for their first ever win in the Thursday night 7 p.m. slot. 2 laps to go. Pace car is out. We're under caution. And this should put us to overtime. The yellow is out for John Krupa. Caught the wall by himself, and around he went. I think that was just in the back. It was. Field gets set to line back up. Jeff Barker has 34 coast-to-coast Racing League victories since we've gone to Sim Racer Hell, but it's a lot more than that. He has never won, though, on Thursday nights. He normally wins in either matinees, retreads, or vets and first responders races. He's never won a big weeknight show like this. Can you believe what his reaction would be if he could get this done? He's led every lap so far, and he's 2 laps away from getting it done. So we're back to green. Everyone stacks up from third on back. Baker and Grandy make some slight contact. Morano with an opening. off turn 4. White flag is out. 1 to go for the Brewington Beast. Jeff Barker and the Marines 5-13. But Jason Butterfield's on the tail. He's about 1.5 car lengths behind. Final time in turns 3 and 4. It's not going to be enough. Put your hands together for the Brewington Beast. Jeff Barker gets it done. That is awesome. But you got to give a hand for Jason Butterfield, who was looking for his first ever win in the Coast to Coast Racing League. But what a great performance by Jeff Barker. And that got nervous for a moment as Dino comes by to offer congratulations. 2 fellow retreads then know how to get it done on Thursday nights. But Jeff Barker is a Thursday Night Thunder winner, ladies and gentlemen. How about that? We will get your top 3 on in here, and while we wait on them, pull up the official results here for you. Jeff Barker, the winner. Jason Butterfield, 2nd. Butch Baker in 3rd. 4th, Joseph Grandy. 5th, Anthony Morano. 6th, Alex Pomelo. 6th belonged to, 7th, Randy Shreves. 8th, Dean Reynolds. 9th, Jacob Masso. 10th was G.J. Boydell. Show you 21 through 22nd. Your biggest mover as well was Dino. He started 18th and finished in 8th. Way to go, Dean. It's a pretty good run for him. Alrighty, I think we are set to go here. Let's begin with our 3rd place finisher in Butch Baker. See if we can bang him in here. Discord is a little bit glitchy today, I'll tell you that. All right, we're having glitches here, so I guess I'm going to have to do all 3 of you from this room here. We'll begin with Butch Baker. Butchie, a great run for you, man. Just you started 3rd, finished 3rd. Positives you had from this one?
Getting on the podium. That was the biggest positive. I haven't been on the podium in a while. Just a great race. A lot of fun. It was great running with Jason and Jeff. Good to see Jeff win. Happy for him. And just a fun race overall.
Did you think you had something for the top 2 in that long run?
Yeah, in the beginning there, I was after that first caution, I was pressuring Jason a little bit, and then after that, I kind of lost my groove somewhat, and then it was just I just wanted to hang on and get on the podium. So, and I accomplished that, and I'm happy.
Good run for you, man. Who do you want to give shout-outs to?
Oh, got a shout-out to my boys at Venom Racing. Big shout-out to Coast to Coast. Got a shout-out to you, Marty. RSN Trackside, got you. Super Dirt Car Series with Dean Reynolds. And, everybody in the league that puts us on. Thank you.
All right, man. Great job. We'll let you go. Nice 3rd-place run. We'll see you in the big block.
Thanks, buddy.
Butch Baker, our 3rd-place finisher. Jason Butterfield, our 2nd-place finisher. But we got to give him a round of applause, too, because he was looking for his first ever Coast to Coast Racing League win. Jason, what more did you need for Jeff tonight?
Less cautions is what it was.
So you think you had something on that long run? Because I saw you at one point. You pulled up to the quarter panel, but I think you had to let off entering a corner.
Yeah, I got right up to his right rear corner there, and then as soon as I got up to it, the caution came out, and I just needed to keep momentum up, rolling through the middle like I was.
You really did have something for Jeff. When you look at this, you take this away. What does this show you now the rest of the year? I know we got a couple weeks left, but does this make you more confident that you can go out there and get a win?
To get a win with this group of guys is tough. You got to earn it every step of the way. They're all good at it, and but I'm gonna give it my hardest.
Absolutely. Who do you want to give shout outs to, Jason?
Oh, I gotta thank all the guys over at Venom. Dean, Brian, Isaac, Butch, Gary. I'm in with them every week. Apex Industries, CJB Speedworks, Garofalo's Imports, Brewer and Brewer.
All right, man. Well, we'll let you go. Jason, great second place run.
Thank you, sir.
And now we go to Extreme eSpeed TV Victory Lane. The Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker, your first ever Thursday Night Thunder win. Your prior wins, it was either retries or matinee races or renegade or veterans and first responders. I was trying to think of it. But you've got one in one of the big slots in prime time. How does this feel to win on a Thursday night?
Oh, it feels good, especially over these guys. It's like a murderer's row behind me there. It was pretty fun.
When you start on pole, did you expect passing to be tough at this track like Lanier, and you have the car in the 358s that's all about momentum?
After this afternoon race, no, I thought passing would be kind of prevalent, but I did everything I could to make myself hard to pass and use as much track as I could and just hoped I could keep my momentum up.
But, I mean, you definitely made it work and holding off on the low line. Did you feel like, from your perspective as well, and I know these are fixed setups too, but did you feel like that you had a car that had a lot of bite come out of it?
Yeah, I thought I did. It felt good. I practiced a bunch. I did the afternoon race today, plus I practiced a little bit after, and I was kind of ready. And plus I got a good pill draw. That always helps too. So starting in the front's always a bonus.
Absolutely. I know you got 2 races left, but I got to know how you're celebrating this one tonight.
Now I'm just gonna go do the next one and move on.
Awesome. Who do you want to give shout-outs to on this one?
Oh, I gotta thank Epsilon Sprint Reps for always making my car look good. Gotta thank you, Marty, for putting on a good show for us, and C2C and Venom Racing Team for sponsoring this division. And yeah, that's about it. I'm good.
Alrighty, man. Congratulations. Enjoy this one. I know you got the big block race in 5 minutes. Go celebrate, though.
All right. Thanks, Marty.
Jeffrey freaking Barker. That's all we're going to say about that. That is I consider that an upset, ladies and gentlemen. He's an Extreme eSpeed TV Victory Lane. Congratulations to him. We're going to step aside and go to break. When we come back, it's big block time at Lanier. Stay with us on the Coast to Coast Racing Network.
Before they go fast and start to power slide, we salute you with the big blocks 4 wide, the crowd pounding, earth shaking, window rattling beasts of the Northeast. It's the big block modified Super Dirt Car Series.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our weekly race chat.
Adam Ross and Clinton Jeffrey are live and interactive every Tuesday night. Rivals Race Chat is your home for race discussion, debate, news, interviews, and more. They'll even take your questions and comments live on the air and talk to some of the newsmakers each week. Tune in every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. on GeForce TV.
Olsen, she has her first point.
Yeah, Lucy Olson, talented sophomore.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Coast to Coast Racing Network. We are getting set for the big blocks, the beasts of the Northeast. Big Block Racing is brought to you by the Super Dirt Car Series. Marty Scala with you, and so glad you could join us here. Let's take a look at your points coming on, and points brought to you by Sim Razor Hub. This is without drops after 8 races into the season. There we go. Patrick Spangler currently comes in with a 39-point advantage. Spangler leads on Joseph Grandy. Brian Lawson, 58 points back. Lawson is third in the standings. Getting some of your thoughts here after the race. Isaac says that's an awesome top 3. All great, gentlemen. Randy says good run, Dean, and good win, Jeffrey. David says not a great finish, but best race I've had since joining the league. Thanks for the broadcast. David, thanks for tuning on in as always. We definitely appreciate it. We've got a car count of 22, so just about the same car count. I believe we've gained one and we've lost one here. So practice is wrapped up, and Jeff Kemper, the quickest in the big blocks, with a 14.18. And we are ready for heat race number 1. Heat race number 1 is brought to you by our friends at Flatline Racing Bodies. Here's your starting lineup. Dean Reynolds draws pill number 1. Because of that, he starts on the pole position. Look at that throwback he's got. The Roger Horvath throwback. Throwback weekend, why not? Next to him is Jeff Kemper on the outside. Row number 2, Alex Pavlo in the 397. And the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker in the 513. Row 3 is Butchie Baker in the 97. And Gary Sigelkow in the 25. Rounding out the field, Randy Shreves in the 56. And Cody Graham in the 2. Drivers tonight following the Steve King Foundation Pace Car, formed to help the dirt track community across the country by providing financial assistance to drivers, pit crew members, race officials, track ops personnel, or the immediate families of those individuals who suffer serious illness, injury, or death. One lap to go until we get the green. Winner starts on pole for our 35 lap for our 30 lap feature. Ready for the green flag. Reynolds and Kemper, bring us down. We're underway with the big blocks. Reynolds gets off to one heck of a jump. Kemper way too high in turns 1 and 2. Loses second to Pomelo. Barker and Baker on the attack for P3. Could we go 3 wide off the corner? The answer is yes, but Kemper just barely clears both. As you watch Baker and Barker for 4th position. Again, this isn't really a car about momentum. It's really about rolling on the throttle. Kemper sideways off of turn 4. Allows Baker to close in for 3rd. 2 laps in the books, and Pomelo starts to close in on Reynolds, was better by 1/10.5 last time out. And now we go to the race for 3rd. And that is a wild one we're watching. Cody Graham in 6th has joined in on this battle too. Reynolds now tries to increase the lead on Pomelo. It's now 0.4 of a second, but still about a car length and a half down the back. If only we could show you the double box here, we could. That's 5 cars all under a blanket in a race for P3. Graham inside, Kemper late on the binders. That's to let off a little bit more. Traps him on the outside, just about 3 wide. Back up front, 2 laps to go. Reynolds with a 0.4 of a second lead on Pomelo. You see Baker and Graham are cleared. Kemper starts 2nd. He's all the way back to 6th. May lose 6th to Jeff Barker as we're on the final lap. But another retread will start on pole position. This time it's Dino in the Roger Horvath throwback. Reynolds starts on pole position. Pomelo 2nd, Baker 3rd, Graham 4th. The throwback as well that Dean's running too. That car is from 1992 and his big block modified that he ran at the New York State Fairgrounds. And he got that. Shout out to Ross Carino from Velocity Race Design. It was Dean's door prize of the Super Dirt Week event. So now we move on to Heat 2, brought to you by Langdon Mechanical. And it's Tanner Purcell and Isaac Salas on the front row. Brian Lawson and Joseph Grandy make up row number 2. Jeff Sharp, Jake Omasso, row 3. Anthony Morano rounds out the field. He starts from 7th. Going green this time by. Winner starts next to Reynolds. Could it be perhaps an all-Venom front row with either Salas or Lawson? We're about to find out. In the starter's hands. Someone was caught sleeping, and it was the 126. Grandy with a run on the outside. Salas clears early. You watch Grandy and Lawson for the 3rd spot. You see Lawson wheeling it deep into turn number 3. You can see those hands moving. They make contact. Lawson falls back to 4th. 4 wide in turn 1. Morano nearly gets clipped into that Jersey barrier. Allow Sharp to get a run underneath for 4th. Sharp takes the fourth spot away. We still have Masso and Lawson side by side for fifth. Let's right on board with Morano. Although he is in seventh, all drivers nose to tail. Look out, Lawson, Masso touch. And oh my goodness. Wild wreck. Masso hits the Tory tire while Morano goes flipping. Look at the front end. That is messed up, man. 3 to go in the heat. Salas with a 7/10 of a second lead on Tanner Purcell. Could tonight perhaps be in the big block a lot similar to the 358 race where track position means everything? We'll have to see, but 1 lap to go. And Salas goes down the back. He'll start on the outside next to his teammate and buddy, Dean Reynolds. Salas followed by Purcell, Grandy, Sharp, Lawson, and Masso when they come across the line. And so 1 more heat left to go before we head right into warm-ups. Heat 3 brought to you by Venom Racing. Here's the starting lineup. Joe Masso and Logan Wentz make up your front row. Bob DeGood in the high side banger. Patrick Spangler, row number 2. Michael Vecchio and John Krupa, row number 3. Jason Butterfield starts from 7 tonight. Again, let us know who you're rooting for in the chat. We'll be sure to give you a shout out on the air. We've got 20 people watching. That's our highest count tonight, if I recall correctly. Let's see if we can hit 25 this evening before we are done. Ready for the green flag for our final heat with the big blocks this evening. Door panel to door panel into turn number 2. Masso gets away with the slight advantage on the 18 of Wentz. Stacks the field up just a little bit as there is some slight bumper-to-bumper contact. Nice start from Bob DeGood. He moves up into the 3 spot over Patrick Spangler. DeGood takes a peek underneath. You got Michael Vecchio working the extreme high side right next to the cushion. It doesn't seem to play in. He's right on board with the 7 as he's sideways off of turn 2. Staying single file for right now as things speak. You see Masso currently at the moment. Wentz on his quarter panel in the center of the corner. But at 63 gets a lot better by the exit of turn 2. And now Spangler takes a peek for P3 on DeGood. 3 to go in the heat. Both of them 3-wheeling it off of turn 2. Spangler's got the lane to make it work, but he just is not really able to complete the pass. 2 to go in the heat. Come to the white flag, final lap underway. It's Joe Masso. Oh, he hit the inside wall. Logan Wentz with an opportunity. Can he capitalize it to his advantage? Does he use the bumper on Masso? They stack up further back. Spangler may be out of gas. And it's Masso that holds off Logan Wentz. Woo! That was a close call for one of the Moose crew. So we got warm-ups brought to you by the Osh Weekend Speedway feature coming up next on the Coast to Coast Racing Network.
How about the reverse for Lucy Olsen? She has her first point.
Yeah, Lucy Olsen, talented sophomore.
Warm-ups are just about set to wrap up here, and it's Isaac Salas the quickest at a 14:58 by 8 thousandths or 9 thousandths on Anthony Morano. Warm-ups are in the books. Let's meet the field in the Super NERCAR Series starting lineup. On the front row, a pair of Venom teammates, Dean Reynolds in the throwback 79, and slide job Isaac Salas in the 5. Row number 2, Joe Masso in the 63, and Alex Pavolo in the 397. Row 3, Tanner Purcell in the 126, and Logan Wentz in the 118. Row 4, Butch Baker in the 97, and 100 grand, Joseph Grandy in the 518. Row 5 is Jason Butterfield in the 93 and Cody Graham in the 2. Row number 6 is Jeff Sharp in the 28 and Bobby Good in the 7. Row 7 is Grandy Shreves in the 56 and Brian Lawson in the 9. Row 8, the high side banger Patrick Spangler in the 39 and the Brewerton Beast Jeff Barker in the 513. Row 9, Jacob Masso in the 61 and Michael Vecchio in the 007. Row 10 is Jeff Kemper in the 181 and Anthony Morano in the 32. Rounding out the field this evening, John Krupla in the 98 and Gary Sigelkel in the 25. Time for picks to win. My pick to, I don't know who's going to, it's going to be a tough one to see who's going to win it. Because of my two booth boys, on the front row. We're going to go stay limited and say either one of them. So we'll see what happens here as we're set for the Lucy Olson start. Steve King Foundation pace car is in the pits. The Beasts of the Northeast invade the Peach State. We're green. Off of turn number 2, Dean Reynolds has the lead. Isaac Salas, Joe Masso third. Race for fourth, Alex Pavlo and Logan Wentz side by side for fourth. Patrick Spangler crashed it as the caution. Oh, look out, Masso! Joe Masso hit the Jersey barrier just like he did at the end of his heat race. And that was after the caution flag flew. Let's watch another angle of that. That will show you the cause of the yellow. Just got way too much of it, and Logan Wentz has nowhere to go. Now, we had this situation between Spangler and I want to say... yes, Purcell, who went flipping side over side. That did not bring the caution flag out, but when they were getting to turns 1 and 2, that's what I believe brought the yellow flag out. Lights are off as we'll go green this time by.
Yeah.
Set for the green flag, mission 22 restart back underway. Side by side for the lead. Salas with a run. Top shelf where Mama hides the cookies. Can't take it to the point just yet. But he's got a good car. He knows how to rock and roll up on the cushion. Both lines working really well at the moment. This could allow Pavlo to close in just a bit. But you know Isaac and Dean very well. They're going to race each other very clean. Salas with a run through 3 and 4. Can he drive it well at the exit? No. Isaac's so much better on corner entry as he doesn't have to let off the gas. Dean is so much better on corner exit. He's right on board with Reynolds. There you see the run by the Salsa man. That was a better exit though for Salas as they're door to door for just a bit and nearly side by side. Salas can only get as far as that quarter panel of Dean Reynolds. And they are trading the lead every half second when they're in the corner. And that's off of our live timing that you're seeing on the top left. Oh, Salas good. Nope, it's still Reynolds. Last time by at the line, Salas better by 0.03 of a second. And now they're side by side into turn number 3. Can Salas rock it to the point? No, but Dean gives him the lane into turn 1. Salas sends it in deep on the cushion. And he's got the better drive off. The low line is fading away for Dino. 10 laps in the books. At the line, I believe it was Salas. I believe Isaac Salas takes the 5 to the point. And now they approach lap traffic and Gary Sigelkow. Despite your top 2 teammates side by side for the lead, Alex Pavlo isn't even closing in. In fact, he's losing time. A second behind the top 2. Salas may have just scraped the wall for just a split second. Now they work on Gary Sigelkow. Sigelkow swaps down to the low line to get out of the leader's way. Everyone switches up to the top. Salas clips the wall again. Reynolds up the track. They're nearly side by side again. Let's watch some other racing. Purcell and Butterfield. That's the race for 4th. Grandy up there as well. Same with Logan Wentz. How about the start so far for Butterfield, who started 9th? He's all the way up into the 4th position. And now they work on Pomelo for 3rd. Salas, meanwhile, has Reynolds cleared, but we have a caution out. That is John Krupa in the 98. Who I believe just had a moment, I think last lap. I saw something. I didn't want to focus on it because I didn't know who it was. We believe it's Krupa. Flipped the inside wall and around he went. Luckily held on to his brakes. You had everyone just coming by so fast. There was no choice but to throw the caution. As he backed up, he's back on the track. And there's the yellow. It's a tough break for Krupa in the Graham Racing ride. Doubled up. This is going to be our second restart of the day. And when we take the restart, the cross flags will fly for Barney as well. 15 up, 15 down. Set for the restart. Back to green we go. 4 wide in turns 1 and 2. Butterfield gets away with the advantage, and he wants more damage. Looks for 3rd. Oh, look how Logan Wentz is around. And into Brian Lawson up on his side. Red flag is out. 2 drivers up on their lead. If this was real life, that would easily be a red flag. Wentz, Barker, Lawson, and Baker. I don't know what happened to Logan Wentz. I don't think there was some contact from Randy Shreves. Oh, maybe neck code. I don't know. And there it is. Lawson. What an angle by iRacing with their camera shots. Let's get you another one. Oh, look at Lawson flipping even more. We'll shoot that in just a bit. Hello to Intimidator 49 watching. Yep, that slight bump by Randy Shreves. And watch the, I think Barker was trying to help him get back on all 4 wheels, and yes, that was the case. Did he do it right? He did. May need to put Jeff Barker on the Venom Racing team next season. Set for this restart. That lap is off the board. We're single file, I believe, for the rest of this race now. So Salas holds serve. Reynolds back at 2nd. Butterfield now past Pomelo for 3rd. He just has to secure it at the start-finish line, which he does. A good race for 6th breaks out. Joseph Grandy and Tanner Purcell. This is actually the race for 5th, pardon me. Grandy started in the 8th spot. He made his way up a couple more. Randy Shreves trying to avoid using the bumper a little bit more. Pass Grandy up on the cushion. That's where everyone is now at. Michael Vecchio has crashed it, and Lawson single cow sideways. Caution's out. See how that started with the 007. Catches the wall. Sideways it goes. It collects single cow. Up on his side he went. And that was shaken, not stirred. Right on board, Vecchio. Want to see if we had something too with Gary. Nope, a great save from the 25. Set for this restart. Salas leads, Reynolds second, Butterfield third, Pomelo fourth, and Purcell fifth. We'll have 11 to go when we come back to the green flag. Salas holds serve. Now what does Butterfield do? He's been very good in the lanes where not the majority go. Underneath for P2 on Reynolds. Can he get it done? Not yet, but pulled up to the quarter panel of Dino at the start-finish line. So that low side may be developing something once again. This time for Butterfield. One up in the wall, I believe. No caution. We stay green. Purcell looking to close in as well for that third spot. Maybe the same with Alex Pomelo. This is a pretty good race here so far outside the top three. 8 laps to go. It's a three-way race for third. Butterfield, Pomelo, and Purcell. Purcell now uses the low line. So you're on board with that 126. Butterfield just scrapes off the wall, 6 to go. Salas with about a second advantage on Dean Reynolds at the moment. 3 wide off at 2, Pomelo scrapes the wall. Slight contact between the race for third. Purcell, can he make it work for third? He does. And he clears the 93 into turn 1. Now Pomelo works the Lightning Larry White lane. But he's back in the 5th/6th spot. That's what we also call the Spangler lane, the high side banger lane. How about this run for Spangler? He started 15th, he's up to 7th. Anthony Morano started last, he's up to a 9th. That's the biggest mover of the race so far. 3 to go, meanwhile, for Isaac Salas. Again, a 1 second lead over Dean Reynolds. I think even with a second place finish, Reynolds will be satisfied because it's him and Salas, 1-2, the Venom drivers. Let's go back to the race for third that everyone's watching closely. 2 laps to go, 2 sticks up from Barney. It's a Grob Schnaub for third spot. Pomelo up on the cushion again for 6th. Can he get 5th on Grandy? He's got Spangler pushing him with the air possibly. White is out, 1 lap to go. And Pomelo and Spangler are not giving up at the end. We could see something wild happen in turn 3 and 4. But coming to the checkered flag, Isaac Salas wins again this time in the big block. And at the end for third is Purcell, Butterfield, Grandy, and Pomelo. Another 1-2 finish for the Venom Racing clan, who eat and breathe modified racing. Tanner Purcell finishes in the 3rd spot. And in his 3rd ever race with the Coast to Coast Racing League, that is his first podium. So well done by the rookie. And we will get your top 3 on in here momentarily. I hope Purcell's in the Discord, even though it's 3 races. So while we're at it, let's pull up the race results while we wait for your top 3. Salas the winner by 0.6 of a second. Dean Reynolds 2nd. Tanner Purcell 3rd. Jason Butterfield 4th. Joseph Grandy 5th. Alex Pomelo 6th. Patrick Spangler 7th. Cody Graham 8th. Your hard charger, Anthony Morano, from 22nd to 9th. Jacob Masso 10th. Jeff Sharp 11th. Butch Baker 12th. Bob DeGood 13th. Jeff Barker 14th. Jeff Kemper 15th. 16th. Logan Wentz 17th. Brian Lawson 18th. John Krupa 19th. Gary Sigelkow 20th, Randy Shreves. Michael Vecchio, 21st. Joe Masso, 22nd. Don't forget the Xfinity Trail is coming up next. Well, wait to see if we have Tanner Purcell. Meanwhile, I'll talk with the top two here. I have to come in here. Something's going on with Discord today, gents. But let's begin with you, Dino, with the Roger Horvath throwback. Not bad keeping that car on the podium for all 30 laps.
You know, we were joking earlier in Discord with me and Isaac on the front row, and I said, you know what? If I'm going to get beat, I got to get beat by the best, because if you want to be good, you got to run with them. And you know, it was hats off to Ross Carenta for doing this. I won the door prize for Stupider Week, and he put together this car, and I said, you know what? We're going to run it tonight. And for people that don't know, Roger Horvath is one of my personal friends that ran a big block in the late 80s, early 90s, and then ran an ESS sprint car. And unfortunately is paralyzed from the waist down in a motorcycle incident. But he never gave up and actually came back and ran a hand-controlled sprint car in 1994 just to say he can do it. And always one of my best friends from racing for me and my dad. And my 79 is designed after him. He ran a 79. It was a gold leaf hand-painted style that this 79 is, and that's why this style's on all my cars. So just happy to do it for Roger.
Made him proud tonight, though, buddy. That's for sure. Other positive you take away from this one? You had a good car early. I'm gonna admit your car looked really good up on the low side.
Yeah, I was gonna stay down there until Isaac got by me, and you know, he was saying the top is coming, the top is coming. I said, you know what? If you get by me, I'm just gonna follow you, because I didn't know if the top was gonna come in. That's the beauty of Lanier. I love Lanier. You don't know if it's going to stay bottom. Sometimes the middle comes in, or like in the 358s there, me and Randy Shreves, we just started blasting the top in the closing laps there, and we gained about 5 spots, but it came on too late for us. But that's what Lanier is. You just don't know where to go, and that's the beauty of this track.
Absolutely. Who do you want to give shout-outs to?
Well, I got to say thanks to Isaac Salas as well. You know, he coaches us all the time, and you know, we talked about this before, Marty, about, you know, a year ago or maybe a little bit less, 8 months. Isaac said, if you want to be fast, you got to run the top. And ever since that, I've been practicing and running the top. And, you know, I mean, if Isaac Salas wasn't in the field, this is a Dean Reynolds race. But, you know, you just, there's a reason why Super Car Series on the side of that car. So I got to thank him, Team Venom for letting me in their Discord, Full Throttle Motorsports for their coaching as well. Coast to Coast and Roger in the league for a fun Thursday night. Happy to Super Dirt Car Series is on the Big Block sponsorship, and thanks to you, Marty. I was psyched when I heard you were doing Thursday.
Appreciate it, man. Great job. Congratulations. And random question: will I see you at Weed Sport for All-Star Weekend?
I will be there.
All
yes,
right,
I will. I'll be there and come.
I will see you there.
Yeah.
I am covering that race, so.
Sounds good, and congrats to Isaac, and congrats to Tanner on his first podium.
Absolutely. That's Dean Reynolds, our second-place finisher. Let's go to the rookie, Tanner Purcell, third ever race in the Coast to Coast Racing League, and takes a podium finish. Tanner, how's that one feel?
Yeah, it felt pretty good. Didn't think I was going to get here that soon, but this is a good group of guys to race with, and got thrown into the mix here, and I'm loving it.
That race for third at the end, how much fun was it battling Butterfield, Pomelo, Grandy amongst those guys?
Yeah, I didn't think I would come close to putting it with them guys. And I stuck it on the bottom, and I was hoping Butterfield didn't have a run on me anywhere, because I knew he was right there.
Well, how about now as we head down to under the home stretch of the season? You seem like you got that potential possibly to get a win now with that podium finish. How are you feeling now as you go through the rest of the season?
I feel pretty good now that I put it on the podium at, I think, of one of my worst tracks. I just think maybe here coming up I can give everyone a run for their money.
Well, it's a great performance, man. Who do you want to give shout-outs to?
Tri-City Speed, BMJ Enterprises, all the guys over at their Discord for giving me lessons, and Michael Vecchio for getting me in here and giving me a chance to run with you guys.
Alrighty, man. We'll let you go. Great job, and congratulations on your first ever podium.
Thanks, guys.
All right, let's go to Extreme eSpeed TV Victory Lane to talk with Isaac Salas. First off, last time you and I talked in an interview after the race, I hate to tell you this, the Boston Bruins were still in the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. Some PTSD. That's what that is right there.
Oh, man, what a run for you on the high side. How was that working out for you? Obviously, that was the dominant line throughout the day.
Yeah, I mean, that bottom was quick during the heat race especially, and I knew that it was probably gonna be there for a while in the feature, but I'm not gonna lie to you, I was kind of nervous when Dean was still side by side with me with like 15 to go, and I was like, man, should be kind of cleared by now.
I was like, for a moment, could Dean actually pull this off over Isaac? Could he stun him?
I know. Don't you worry. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, if this cushion goes away at all, I'm kind of not doing too hot up here.
But yeah, other than that, other positives you take away from this one?
I made it. I made it to Thursday night.
You did.
This new job, man, I've been loving it, but haven't been able to race as much as I've been kind of in my training stuff. So just to like get here and kind of cheer on from the sideline on the way home, and then get here with like 5 minutes left to spare to hop in a race, and then have this good result, and have this good result with Dino as well.
Hey, you're trying to make it to Knoxville and New York. I get it. I get it, man.
I know, dude. It's like this projected at like $5,300 or something for this paycheck. So hopefully I can use that money to make a trip to Knoxville and make a trip out to New York again.
Absolutely. Who do you want to give shout outs to?
Yeah, big shout out to all those guys over at Venom Racing. Awesome to see them have a good night, and at least some of them have a good night. Sorry, Brian. That luck is not on your side, buddy. But Dean, the Super Dirt Car Series, great run for him. Magnum Race Designs, Got Your Six Racing Network. You and RSN Trackside, buddy, I saw a post on Facebook about Mr. Money, and I'm actually so excited to go and watch that. You have no idea. Dirt Track Bank, everybody here in Coast to Coast, Mission 22, and everything that they do for our veterans. My Gramps, Top Notch Trucking, we got together, and he's gonna be we got some big plans for him next season, so that's pretty awesome. And then thank you for the broadcast, Marty. I'm stoked to come back and watch, to be honest with you, especially with that side-by-side battle. And then yeah, just thanks to like my friends, my family, and everybody that just kind of supports me, and then like thanks to our veterans again.
I always appreciate the time as always. Congratulations on this one.
Awesome. Thank you, brother.
Isaac Salas, your winner, Extreme eSpeed TV Victory Lane. For those wondering, tomorrow on the RSN Trackside Facebook page, Super Dirt Car Series champ from 2019 and the points leader, Matt Williamson, joins myself alongside my co-host, Kelvin, to talk all things dirt racing. So we'll step aside and we will go to break. When we come back, Xfinity Trail time from Darlington Raceway. Stay with us on the Coast to Coast Racing Network.
Before they go fast and start to power slide, we salute you with the big blocks 4 wide, the crowd pounding, earth shaking, window rattling beast of the Northeast. It's the Big Block Modified Super Dirt Car Series.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our weekly race chat.
Adam Ross and Clinton Jeffrey are live and interactive every Tuesday night. Rivals Race Chat is your home for race discussion, debate, news, interviews, and more. They'll even take your questions and comments live on the air and talk to some of the newsmakers each week. Tune in every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. on GeForce TV.
Yeah, Lucy Olson, talented sophomore.
go fast and start to power slide. We salute you with the big blocks 4 wide. The crowd pounding, earth shaking, window rattling beast of the Northeast. It's the Big Block Modified Super Dirt Car Series.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our weekly race chat.
Adam Ross and Clinton Jeffrey are live and interactive every Tuesday night. Rivals Race Chat is your home for race discussion, debate, news, interviews, and more. They'll even take your questions and comments live on the air and talk to some of the newsmakers each week. Tune in every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. on GeForce TV.
She has her first point. Yeah, Lucy Olson, talented sophomore.
And welcome back, everyone, to the Coast to Coast Racing Network. We're moments away from the Xfinity Trail. We get set to go for another edition. It is the Darlington 75. We're at the Lady in Black, the track that's too tough to tame, Darlington Raceway. And we should be in for a good one here. Again, glad you could join us on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Marty Sakala with you. The egg-shaped oval with a lot of banking. Always a tough one, and guarantee you tonight that every car here will get some sort of marking on it. So we take a look right now as things stand. We've got a 20 driver car count here this evening. As always, let us know who you're rooting for in chat. This is round number 11 of the season. Bob Light comes in with the points lead. He's got the big advantage over everyone, 302 to 278. Obviously, it does come down to, though, playoffs later on in the season. Bob Light, Aiden Young, each with 2 wins on the year. Zach Chapman, Isaac Salas, Dwayne Simons, Cody Graham, Doyle Lawrence, and Kyle Moonen, each with a win apiece. As you all know, we follow the entire trail here. And last week we were at the Dover Motor Speedway where Bob Light was able to take his second win of the season. Just wait a couple more moments here before we get qualifying all underway. And I believe we've got our broadcast partner with us in the booth. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. The Bassman, Roger Craig, is joining us. What's going on, sir?
Not much, Marty. We were trying to find a proven color commentator for you, and we failed. So now you've got me.
And they brought you.
They brought me. Yeah, they found me at the bottom of the barrel, buddy.
That's like finding Devo after hours at Dingus.
Yeah, exactly, man.
All right, let's show you some times here at the moment as practice is starting to wrap up here. We should have our times up here in just a moment. All right, bear with us. We're having some technical difficulties here with our graphics, but we will be sure we get those fixed as soon as possible. Qualifying, though, is about to begin. And first driver we will watch on the racetrack is the driver of the number 9, and Brian Lawson. Brian Lawson's got the Bill Elliott Mellon Racing throwback here this weekend, Roger.
Yeah, it's good to see. Guys been talking about throwback week here, and it's going to be interesting to see some of the cars. I know a few of the guys have done them up.
Of course, the big key here when you run at the Darlington Raceway, you always want to run as high as you can. But if you go too high, you'll get that wall pretty good.
Yeah, and if you guys found that out the other night, what we have done tonight is we've increased incidence. It's normally 15 and you're out. Tonight it's 15 and it'll be a drive-through, and 20 you'll be out, because we know that guys will be banging that outside wall more than normal.
Absolutely. Lap number 1 wrapping up here for the driver of the number 9.
This is a tough track with those, with both turns being totally different. It's not symmetrical.
This is a driver's track here.
That's probably why I wrecked out on Tuesday. Tuesday was a tough night for a lot of guys, and I was not there at the end.
You see Colin Johnson, the number 13, currently 1-2 Toyotas as we speak, but Johnson did crack the wall for just a bit, so he will not be able to finish his qualifying lap on time.
Yeah, and while we're mentioning it, a big shout out to Colin. Colin sets all of our NASCAR, all the asphalt other than road races up, and just does a great job, and very very educated on the whole NASCAR side of things. So does a great job.
Absolutely, without question. Louis Meglin moves up to second quick on the leaderboard, and yes, we are still having some issues with our graphics. Bear with us. We are working to get those fixed as soon as possible. I think we may have them set now. We got him. Butch Baker just wrapping up his time. He is 11th quick. Just about halfway here through qualifying. Of course, 5 minutes for drivers to take time as quick as possible. Here's Brandon Ishkanian with the Dale Jr. throwback. And he's already got a Darlington stripe to that right side. That's what I mentioned before you showed up, Roger. I expect every driver to have at least some sort of marking on their cars at the end.
Yeah. Sometimes the podium shot's not pretty, that's for sure.
Especially at this track. Here comes Brandon Ishkanian off at turn number 4. Won't be a pole lap, though. Will it be good enough to hit the top 5? No, he is 10th quick at a 30.77. A lot of drivers likely will not be qualifying here, either for an EOL or if they just want to play it safe and start from the back. And he gets the Darlington stripe once again. Nice save, but obviously the second lap will not count, which means Matthew Robinson will be on the pole in car number 15.
Yeah, and I think we missed Matt for a couple of races. I could be wrong. I need to look at the standings, but
yeah, his gonna be his 4th start of the season.
Yeah, and he just by his demonstration in qualifying, he's somebody to be counted on. How about the Hall of Famer, the Desert Demon, Terry Landis?
Terry Landis, nice lap for him as he is he's in 3rd spot. We'll start from the 3rd position at 30.48. Not bad.
And it's good to see Bob Light was having trouble getting in, and see he's in the session now. He's going to be somebody to look for. He's got to be the smoothest driver on the track. Probably takes better care of tires than anybody.
Last week's winner at Dover was his 2nd win of the season, and so no one will take time for the rest of this session. So that means spots 15 through 22, or 15 through 20 rather, will be lined up via iRating. As the field is set in place, let's give you our starting lineup. On the front row, Matthew Robinson in the 15. Next to the 50, that's Louis Meglin. This starting lineup is well brought to you by the Super Dirt Car Series. Row number 2, the Desert Demon, Terry Landis in the 161. Next to him is Colin Johnston in the 13. Row 3, Brian Lawson in the 9 and Jacob Butcher in the 85. Row 4 is Slide Job, Isaac Salas in the 5, the big block winner, and Jeremy Tate in the 8. Rounding out the top 10, Andrew Smith in the 79 and Brandon Ishkanian in the 19. Row number 6, John Mateo in the 82 and Butch Baker in the 97. Row number 7, Jeff Kemper in the 181 and Roland Olson, Hollywood Olson in the 003. Row 8 is Zach Chapman in the 72 and Gary Sigelkow in the 25. Row number 9, Tim Chapman in the 37. And to his outside will be Preston Cranmer in the 07. The rest of the field will look like this. Dwayne Simons and Bob Light to start from the rear.
And while we're waiting for him to get started, another big shout out to Peter Thompson. Peter's fairly new to the league and stepped up to help admin these races. Just started last week. We sat it in together and doing a great job. I was supposed to sit with him tonight, but total confidence he's doing such a great job. So big shout out to Peter.
Absolutely, good for him. 75 laps the distance here at Darlington. We should expect one pit stop in this race, Roger, correct?
I think 2. based on it, I think the mileage is about the same with these and the trucks. I think there'll be 2 stops.
Light and Kramer do not grid, so they will be starting from pit lane from the sounds of it.
They were both having connectivity issues or something, but I thought they were both in the session the last time I looked. Now Preston, looks like Preston's not going to make it, but Bob shows as being in the session.
Interesting.
So one of the critical things here, Marty, is you only get 1 repair. And that's what got me last Tuesday night. I got a bit of damage early on, and I was losing speed. I couldn't keep up. Made the first pit stop, and it was kind of do I or don't I? I did do the repair, and 2 laps later there was a wreck, and I had 45 minutes of repairs. So you got to really use that repair wisely, and a lot of guys you might see run damaged for a while just to save it till near the end.
Absolutely. A lot of throwbacks out here from the Terry Landis, Darrell Waltrip throwback to the aforementioned Brian Lawson, Bill Elliott throwback. A lot of great cars here as they make their way through 3 and 4. Where else would you rather be than right here, right now? We get ready for the Lucy Olson start. Matthew Robinson, Louis Meglin, the front row. They will bring us to the green flag. Here we go. It's showtime with the Lady in Black.
Somebody banged the wall there. 85.
Oh, they're wrecking already. That's the 19 of Ishkanian. I don't believe he went. We are staying green, though. Butch Baker already around. There should be a caution flag here to get the drivers back up and scattered, but we will stay green. Matthew Robinson with the jump. Louis Meglin second. Terry Landis third. Brian Lawson fourth. Isaac Salas rounds out the top 5. Everyone's all scattered up throughout the field early here, Roger, as Robinson comes across the line to lead lap 1.
Yeah, we had a similar situation the other night. I'm just looking at that replay. I think the problem is everybody either kept moving or they went in off the track, so iRacing won't throw the flag.
Absolutely, very weird situation by iRacing. Here's a look at what happened with Ishkanian that Roger was referring to. Oh no, this started with the 85 of Butcher. It's like his throttle never even went.
I saw him, he hit the wall and then came across, and then of course that was just, everybody else was just dodging.
Yep, just messed up on the steering load, and a bunch of drivers with nowhere to go. Probably the worst of it was Ishkanian as he went head on into the wall. That's a tough break for him.
Well, it makes it a tough start, especially when you've only got that 1 repair. Now you're kind of behind the 8 ball.
You see Robinson up on the wall. He's going to get a Darlington stripe. Now, normally in the Coast to Coast Racing League, Roger, we've got the rule where if you get any amount of instants, you'll lose points based on how many instants you have. But I believe, if I'm correct, because it is Darlington, you have increased the number of instant points with it, being a very tough track to handle.
Yeah, that's where we 15, which is the normal 15 max. That'll be a drive-through tonight, and then 20 you'll be done for the night.
Landis off to a good start. He's in 3rd spot. Probably the man that used the wreck at the start to their advantage was probably the 72 of Zach Chapman in the Coolray ride. However, though, he's got some damage to that right side. Chapman started 15th. You're currently your biggest mover of the race so far. Can tell you as well that Preston Cranmer decided not to take the green to grid. Now, Roger has mentioned that he was having some connection issues earlier. I believe those connection issues have continued to bite him in the dust. Brian Lawson's starting to close in on Terry Landis for the 3rd spot. I think she should take a ride on board here with the driver of the 9 here. See Landis bite the wall in turn 2.
So another interesting observation here, Bob Light is just trailing at the back. I just checked his car, no damage. I think it's a strategy he's using, and he'll be around at the end. And so we'll have to keep an eye on him.
Probably hoping that caution came out at the same time. As regain all those spots, and then come back to green and race towards the top 10. You see Landis, though, get a little bit sideways. Could use it to his advantage, but they touch Lawson sideways. Dirt tracks into turn 3. What a save. This brings Isaac Salas into the party there. He goes underneath as he looks for 4th. Slide job, Salas. Yeah, it looks like he just did that on dirt a couple moments ago.
Well, there's a very strong Venom presence here tonight, that's for sure.
So you got Salas running in the 4th spot. Taking a look here as well throughout the field. Pardon me, Gary Sigelkow 18th, Butch Baker 17th. Brian Lawson as well, I forgot to mention him. He's running in the 5th position.
Yeah, and him and Salas just about got into it there a second ago. They're started losing it a little bit there. Teammates.
You got Colin Johnston as well, starting to close in. As they work on, oh, that's actually Terry Landis, who just bit the wall once again. And more time is being lost for the Desert Demon. He is currently not jacked up by Mountain Dew at the moment. Here's another strike. So right on board with him, that's Andrew Smith, who takes a peek downstairs for 6th. And he gets into Landis and puts him up on the wall. Both of them in the wall. Let's see what happens here. Landis is heavily damaged now. He is just getting beat up big time like he's playing bumper cars. Now Chapman goes underneath John Mateo for the 7th spot. Your biggest mover of the race goes too far up the track, and Mateo counters back. That's the best part about Darlington. You make a move down to the inside and send it, you can go up the track big time or overshoot the corner and let the driver you just pass you back, Roger.
Yeah, for sure, man. I was just noticing, Mateo and Chapman were going at it there, but now they've got a bit of a gap between each other.
So Matthew Robinson currently with the lead. He's got a 1.5 second advantage on Louis Meglin as things speak. Brian Lawson currently a 1/4 second ahead of Colin Johnston as of right now. Best battle on track, we go back to Mateo as Jeremy Tate also with the Dale Jr. throwback. Closing in. And Chapman just bounced off the wall. In fact, that cost him 2 spots, Roger.
Yeah, and I just noticed Landis has already got 8 incidents, so he's got to be careful. And Sigelkow has got 10 right now, so they've got to be careful.
Yeah, Roger keeping us posted. Of course, he's one of the race control admins, so he can check those at any time for us. Curious who has 0X at the moment. How many drivers?
About half the field.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's more than I thought there would be.
Yeah, me too.
Landis has brought the 161 onto pit road. You can see pit times on the bottom of your screen throughout the night. But Colin Johnston wants to take 4th from Brian Lawson. Last time by for Colin Johnston was about 600ths better. If you take a look at the time delta, that's Johnston and Smith. Let's show you Lawson and Johnston. There you see it. The gap hasn't really changed between the two in the last 5 laps or so.
So tonight we'll be doing the wall banging count. And right now, Gary Sigelkow is leading that with 12.
Oh, so we're talking about something like the flip count or the fall-off count at Lernerville.
The fall-off count. Yeah, exactly. This is the wall banging count.
Absolutely. Keep that in mind. Write that down for the next time we go to Darlington later this year.
For sure, buddy.
We'll have to keep that in mind, a fall wall banging count. That'll be more than the 30, 40 we have at Lernerville in 2 series. You see a car length and a half separate Lawson and Johnston. And I think what Johnston's just doing at the moment here, Roger, is he's just being patient. Just trying to force Lawson into making a mistake.
And Brandon Ishkanyan, he's sporting a real throwback. He's got no
Yep.
front end.
Oh, wait a second. Oh! That's a modified throwback then there.
Yeah, that's very funny.
If you took the hood off, then it would be a modified throwback.
Yeah, he got caught up in that first wreck, so he's. I think he's hoping for a caution that he can get in there and get some, get that damage repaired because he's losing laps.
Something that drivers have to be careful about as well is turn 2 for many reasons. Number one, you get back on the gas early. Turn 2 can bite you big time, and you can slap the end of that safer barrier really good. But number 2 as well, Darlington's turn 2 is probably bumpier than the other turns we have here, and you can get back on the gas just before the bump, and the bump can make your car freak out and force it to go around.
Something I just noticed here, there must be, my observation I think is inaccurate. Bob Light is 2 laps down, so he must have had some issues there. I guess it wasn't just a strategy.
Remember, Bob started the race late. So he missed the time to grid.
Gotcha.
So.
But there are 4 guys 2 laps down. Landis, Butcher, Light, and Sigelcow.
Yes. Now that is a throwback there that Bob Light has. That's the Cale Yarborough throwback. Oh! And you just saw a great shot of Ishkanian bounce off the wall. A couple of the leaders go past. Andrew Smith joins the fray. And it's a 4-way battle for the 4th spot. Check that, a 3-way battle for the 4th spot. John Mateo was a part of it over, but he's lost a lot of time. Butch Baker, Dwayne Simons have crashed. And we've got a yellow flag out. There's Simons with the other Dale Jr. throwback. And our first caution of the day is down. This should bring everyone down for pit stops.
Yeah, it should get interesting here. I'm sure Ishkanian, for one, is breathing easier. Lawson, his right side's pretty nasty looking.
Simons bounced off the wall. Ooh, that's a heavy shot on that inside safer barrier. Now, what happened with Butch? Believe Baker was ahead of Simons. He did the exact same thing, but this time a heavier shot. And up the track, that's what brought the yellow flag out. Tough break for Butch. He had a good 3rd place run in the 358 earlier tonight. It's right on board.
Yeah, that was just on his own there. He just drifted up and hit the wall too hard.
Everyone's coming in. Now, the big key when it comes to pit stops is if your car is not heavily damaged, you have to make sure you check off that quick repair.
Yeah, that's the worst sinking feeling when you got no damage and you pull in and you forgot to turn off the repair. And so you get a repair of nothing, and you got nothing left for the rest of the race. I have to admit it's happened to me, and it's just a terrible feeling.
Jeff Kemper stays out to lead a lap. We'll watch Robinson's pit stop. Who's on the left sides first? Everyone going for 4 tires without question. Robinson's on the left first, or rather that be Meglin, but pit stall number 1 gives Robinson the advantage, wins the race off pit road, followed by Meglin. Salas with a great pit stop to move up to what would be 3rd, Lawson 4th, and I believe Colin Johnson comes out 5th. Jeff Kemper has the lead. We're going to step aside and go to a break while we are at it, as Kemper will come in. Matthew Robinson, the leader, when we come back to Darlington.
How about the reverse for Lucy Olson? She has her first point. Yeah, Lucy Olson, talented sophomore.
Perfect time as we're about to come back to the green flag. 24 laps go up on the board. Matthew Robinson brings them back down. Just about a third of the race through. He holds serve.
Oh, they're wrecking at the back.
Roland Olson, Bob Light, and again, no caution as they are below the racetrack. Will they keep it green? It all depends on what iRacing says in this.
They kept moving. They
Yep,
kept moving.
we had a 4-car incident. And off turn 4, Robinson leads them at the start-finish line. Let's see what happened at the start. Roland Olson was the first driver I had highlighted on my end here, Roger. He spun the tires. And that's very important at Darlington. It is very, it can be critical. It can be very easy to spin the tires here at this track.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry, I had to jump down. A few guys were questioning why there wasn't a caution there, so I had to explain to them what was going on.
Gotcha. As you ride on board Bob Light, never even hit anyone. But he stays, that puts him back into the 16th spot. A lot of drivers down the pits. We've got a battle here, Roger, for the runner-up spot. Louis Meglin and Isaac Salas. We've got a good one.
Yeah, and they're. I'm not sure how content they are following each other, so that could develop into some really good racing there.
Salas was patient in the big block race earlier. Took him a couple laps to get by Dean Reynolds, but he kept his cool.
Yeah, Dean showed really well there.
Of course, Reynolds started on pole in that big block race, led early, and then Salas took the lead from lap 10 onwards. Isaac not gaining a lot of ground, but just staying patient. Johnston and Mateo, they were battling earlier on in the race. They've closed in on Brian Lawson, 3-car race for 4th.
It's got to be frustrating. I feel for the drivers that get caught up in those wrecks that the caution doesn't come out, but our policy has always been that we do what iRacing does. So
look at this! Look at this! We got a race for the lead. Salas 2 for 1 off of turn 2. What a move he just made!
Wow, it's like he's got rocket fuel in there.
He just took the lead in like 15, 20 seconds. No, that's not rocket fuel in there. That's salsa in there.
Yeah.
We gotta. Let's show you how he made those moves. But go ahead, Roger.
I just to say, fourth is getting really contested as well.
So what happened was Meglin and Robinson made contact. The leader slid. He saved it though. But Salas uses it to his advantage. He takes the lead for the first time today out in front.
Well, it's one thing that something like that happening in front of you, but when you're on the ball and can take advantage of it like that so quickly, that's kudos to Isaac.
Remember a couple weeks ago, Salas got his first win in the Xfinity Trail at Talladega, and that was a part of the exclusive, very rare Triple Crown Club. Not Triple Crown, I'm sorry, Isaac. Triple Crown Club. I'm getting my Cluz and my Cruz messed up together.
Yeah, we should send him a Krusty the Clown trophy.
But fun. You mentioned the race for 3rd and 4th here. Lawson's up to the 4th spot. Actually, he's still in the 4th spot, but closing in on Meglin for P3.
And we're not quite halfway yet, and Light is a lap down. He's got a couple of cars to pass to get the next lucky dog, and then it's a whole new ball game for him.
On board with the number 9 of Lawson.
Some great paints out here.
Absolutely. He drove it in a little bit deep on the entry to 3 and 4. We lost a little bit of time compared to Louis Meglin, but let's go back up front for the lead. It's Robinson is all over Isaac Salas for that top spot.
There's like 8 cars there that are all, contesting.
Absolutely, yeah. Top 8 are separated by 2.5 seconds. This is incredible to watch. You don't normally see that often.
No, we're only halfway through, so this is developing into a, could be a real good ending here.
Absolutely.
And we're halfway through with only 1 caution.
Yeah, just about 33 laps are complete. Let's go to that race for fourth here. Yes, for fourth. Mateo now up on Lawson for that spot. Give credit to both Salas and Mateo. They're each up 6 spots. Same with Zach Chapman and Tim Chapman. Let's go to the race for second, too. Meglin on Robinson. This is what Salas wants to see in his rear view, Roger.
Yeah, for sure. And they're going at it. And then back and forth and fifth, they're back at it again, too.
I think Lawson just got another Darlington stripe in the center of 1 and 2. Gets back on the gas. First to the wall contact. But hey, and Mateo, man, what a save from Lawson. That dirt track experience pays off as always.
Lost about 5 spots, but he's still in that front group.
Absolutely. Now, what's the right? Oh, that right side looks beat up pretty good. He got his Darlington stripe once again, but that will be a little bit of speed that he loses.
So looking at the count, we've lost a couple of guys. 20 points. Sigelkau and Butch Baker. They have been disqualified.
Great point. Yeah. Lawson sideways once again. Nice save. Let's go back to Mateo and Johnston for fourth. How many drivers have 0x now?
We are now down to two drivers, Isaac and Cullen.
Nice.
Hopefully that's not a curse.
Hopefully that's not a curse indeed. But Louis Meglin, though, all over Salas for the lead. Good exit from Salas.
Terry Landis is at 16, so he's got to be really, really careful.
So he's already incurred a penalty already.
And that, yeah, I see. Shows a black flag. That's probably for a drive-through.
And you see something as well that we have yet to see, haven't really seen a lot of tonight. Leaders are approaching lap traffic, but Salas is in the wall. There it goes. Ends the 0x. He tries to chastain it. Meglin uses it to his advantage. He takes the lead.
Yeah, so Colin Johnson's the only guy with a clean record now.
We'll keep you posted on Johnson. Zach Chapman up on the wall. Nearly takes the leader out. And nearly takes Robinson out too. Man, we thought the Monster Mile was wild. Maybe this should be the Monster Mile. Hang on! Meglin sideways. The top two make contact again. This is insanity. Think of this track here, Roger, as well. Think of this track as if it were a skating rink. They're all sliding all over the place. More contact. Robinson throws the bumper on Meglin. Salas tries to use it to his advantage off of 2. And it's going to be a 4-5 car battle now momentarily. Mateo and Johnston up to Salas, Roger.
That's a great race, buddy. Great race.
Bob Light up on the wall. Or rather that be Jacob Butcher, I'm sorry. That slows up 4th and 5th for just a bit.
Yeah, that could have been bad. There's good driving on those guys' part to not make that really bad.
Robinson with a big run on Meglin. Decides to tuck it back in line. Ooh, but he kissed the wall entering turn 3. That slows up his entry. He just couldn't get a run to work off of turn 4. Could the way the drivers are racing right now, Roger, could this be a sneak peek of what we could see at the finish? A lot similar to what we saw in the summer race between Noah Gregson, Kyle Larson, and Sheldon Creed in the same cars?
Yeah, I'm hoping so. Because these guys are. I think it's that the dirt driver thing, where they can go low, and if they start to lose it a bit, they can hang on.
Just saw Colin Johnston bounce off the wall for a moment. Robinson gets a Darlington stripe. So I think Colin Johnston, after bouncing off the wall, I think he just got a 4X.
So technically, I'm still entered in the race, so I'm the only guy left with 0 incidents.
Yes, you and Roger and Peter.
That's right.
Let's go back up front for the race lead. Quarter of a second. Separate the top two. As you're with Robinson on board again. Handle off the throttle big time, but same did Meglen. I think he was about to get sideways. Robinson's going to use it to his advantage. Sends it into turn 3, throws the slide job up on the 50. Meglen counters it back, but can't get the drive off turn 4. Robinson takes the 15 back out in front. Now here comes Salas looking for second. This has been so much fun to watch, Roger.
Well, I got to be wondering, just the tire wear, that right front, with all the movement they're making, that could be the differentiator near the end.
And now Robinson starts to pull away, opens his gap to about 5 car lengths on the 50. Could Meglen may have used up that right front early, possibly?
I think they got one set of tires left, and I think they need one more fuel stop, depending on when they pitted, etc. But if somebody pitted really early, there's a chance that I know in the race on Tuesday, a few guys stretched it out to the end.
So we've got some other battles happening on the racetrack. You've got Johnston, Smith, and Tate. That's for 5th. And there's Tate, bounces off the wall, and same to Colin Johnston. And now those gaps start to increase. Quarter of a second between Robinson and Meglen. Oh, Salas sideways off of 2. He got back on the throttle. He just about avoided the wall, so put a lot of left wheel in it. And he just lost a lot of time. He's now a second behind the 50 of Louis Meglen, Roger.
Yeah, I think, what, you're seeing a bit more gap now with the leaders, and I'm sure it's boiling down to tire wear. The guys that are saving their tires better than the others.
Back to the race for the lead. These have been your 2 best drivers throughout this race. They started on the front row together. And you can see why. They know this track from head to toe. Another one up in the wall. Want to say that was Salas again. Nope, that was Colin Johnston who brings the 13, I believe he was the one that hit the wall, but he brings her down into pit road for what would be a fuel stop. So, everyone, from the looks of it, I think this is where we see the window open for everyone to come in.
Yeah, and this could be where the race is won or lost.
We will know if there is a pit road penalty. We'll keep you posted on that, but we still watch the race for the lead. Carlink separate the top 2 as you watch for the Young Gun Creations blimp. We've got 26 laps of racing remaining. It's just crazy how close they get to that safer barrier off turn 2 with that weird exit Darlington has, and you're all good. Now you see Ashkanian make his way down pit road, and Meglen is right there on Robinson. Doesn't take a peek underneath just yet. May make the slingshot here. No, he lets off early. I think he's either trying to pressure Robinson to make a mistake, or he's going to wait until pit stops exit and Robinson's coming in.
Yep.
So Meglen will have a lap of fresher tires at least, and so Robinson will go for track position.
This is where it's going to get interesting. This could be the race here.
We'll pull up the map. For those of you wondering where your favorite driver is. So Meglen takes it back to the lead, and Robinson brought a whole gang of drivers in. Mateo's in, Lawson's in, Tate is in. Meglen now brings the 50 into the pits, and same with Salas. Now pit road speed here, 45 miles an hour. If you go over, likely will lead to a long hold on pit road. Robinson just exited pit road, a 14-second stop. Colin Johnson pitted on lap 48. He did a 10-second stop, so just fuel for the finish. I don't think he's going to take fuel for overtime here, from the sounds of it. And so with that, Colin Johnson out in front by about 5.5 seconds on Matthew Robinson. But now this is where it gets interesting. Meglin in the pits right now. And Meglin comes out in 52.22, just about a second better than Robinson on pit road. There's Robinson in turn number 2. Here we go, the race is on off the corner. Can Meglin get out in front? He cannot.
No, but he's right there. He didn't lose any ground.
And has a lap of grip to his advantage. And that lap could be pivotal. But the second place driver, what could be leader, is all over. Probably another big winner when it came to pit stops too is that Team Watson 82 of John Mateo. A great stop to get past Salas, move his way up into the into what would be likely the third position. So we're seeing Johnston, Roger, out in front for the first time today. Now, what is his strategy here with 21 laps to go? He pitted on lap 48, a 4.5 second lead. Is he possibly saving fuel here?
You know what? Like, this is where my knowledge and skill sets just aren't there yet, you know. And just the whole NASCAR thing coming from dirt is that there's so many little intricacies here to learn. And I know Canyon and a few of the guys have always talked about Colin Johnson. He's like their crew chief, calling when to go in, and those guys run some great strategies. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see what how he makes out there.
Absolutely. Who's got the least amount of incident points now is what I would like to know.
It would be Bob Light and Colin Johnson with 4. Louis Meglin and Brian Lawson only has 4, despite all the paint customization.
Wow, nice. So we're
Terry Landis got to be holding his breath because he's been sitting at 18 incidents for a while now.
Just playing it safe than sorry. I think he's going as slow as he can in the corners. He doesn't even have the HUD on that 161. He's going to bring it down pit road.
Hey, speaking of Hall of Famers like Terry Landis, I want to take a minute, take a big shout out. Jeff Barker.
That
tonight.
was awesome.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
First ever win on Thursday night.
Yeah, and he deserves it. You know, and he's an old dirt mod racer, so that was great to see. Great to see.
Absolutely, so happy for him. So it's 1.3 seconds the gap between Johnson and Robinson, and I think a possible strategy we could see here with Robinson, he could possibly use Johnson as a pick and maybe, I mean maybe, hold Meglin up just a bit so Robinson can increase the lead just a bit.
Yeah, and don't rule out Mateo. Mateo's hanging in there too.
It's been quiet this entire race. Haven't seen him battling for the lead yet. So leaders all over the 13. There goes Robinson underneath. Look at this angle. You're seeing at home. So Robinson to the point now. Find Meglin. You got to find a way to get by. But Johnson in the wall. That helps out Meglin just a bit.
See if Butcher plays a role here. He's going to get lapped.
So Robinson and Meglin return to 1-2 with 16 to go. And Butcher will probably get out of harm's way off of turn 2. And that he will, but sets up a shallow entry for Meglin here. Not really what you want here at Darlington.
No, and you know, I tend to stay low. Try to stay low when I'm getting lapped. Like if I get up by the wall, I'm always afraid of hitting the wall and then taking everybody out. So it's if you stay low, you're right in the straightaways, especially. You're right out of their way.
Better lap though by 300s compared to Robinson. That 15 looks like he's better on the exit of the corners here, Roger.
Yeah, and again, you know, the whole tire wear thing, I think it's going to come down to that at the end now. It's who can manage those tires for the last few laps.
And again, this is the battle everyone's watching closely with 14 to go. In case anything happens with the top two, Mateo 1.5 seconds behind. The two have battled each other very hard today. There's been some contact, but it's been very light where the driver's been able to save it. Likely afterwards, there will be a party for the winner at the virtual Raceway Grill at Darlington. Everyone says that place is so good. That's the hangout spot after the race.
All these places, they too many places, not enough time to visit them all.
Roland Olsen, we have reports that he crashed. Yep, he's got rear end damage on the 003. But no
so
caution.
now we got.
Go ahead.
We now have Landis, Ashkanyan, and Olsen all at 18 incidents.
Interesting. Next contact they make would likely result in a DQ. 12 to go at the Lady in Black. Now we have a race for 4th. And Solak has passed Johnston without issues. That strategy from the 13 may have backfired. You see Meglin again, lifts off just a bit early. Meglin closes in the center of the corner. He could have a chance here, Roger, off for 4. Underneath just going to follow Robinson's lane. Again, I think the 50 is just trying to pressure the 15 into making a mistake. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think so. It's just you know, intimidating, just being there. I'm just looking. Isaac Sellis has dropped down to about. I'm not sure how far he's down, but at least 10 spots.
He's 6.8 seconds behind in the 4th spot. Meglin took a peek underneath last time by, but decides to think better of it. 10 to go. Hello to Doyle watching. Says hello, just walked in from work. Hello to Steve Bixler rooting for the Salty Dogs. Dean's watching for Team Venom. Man, Meglin nearly caught the wall entering turn 3. I thought a stripe was about to be made. But the thing here, if you're in the top 2, our Darlington stripe could end your chances of a win here with how much time we have left in this race.
Yeah, we're down 9 to go.
300's
well,
better.
Zach spinning.
Zach Chapman around.
Looks like he saved it.
Saves it in turn 4. We stay green. Check out these last 5 laps between your top 2. That's Meglin. Here's Robinson. Meglin was slower in the last 2 laps. That time a great lap for Meglin. Picked up a half second that last time by. And Robinson's up on the wall. Meglin has taken the race lead. I think we missed that when Chapman was spinning.
Yeah, must have.
Here's a look. Johnston caught the wall. He had already gone a lap down. Think this could be it here off in turns 1 and 2. Nope, this was something else. That was Robinson passing Johnston. I'm sorry, this is it. Robinson caught the wall off of turn 2. And so Meglin takes the 50 to the race lead. Where there'll be 6 laps to go at the line, and Robinson is fading badly. 0.8 of a second is now the gap. We also have a race for the free pass spot here if we were to get a late race yellow, Roger. Bob Light up to 9th past Tim Chapman.
Yeah, that's important. If there's a caution, he'll get the wave around.
The only risk, though, is that light would restart from the tail end of the field. He is your biggest mover, started 21st and started late. He has gained a lap and is in the 9th spot. Now that gap, Louis Meglin's trying to blow this one right wide open with 5 laps to go.
Yeah, and everybody's pretty spread out, so the chance of a caution is kind of low unless somebody just,
It's
loses
probably
it.
going to be a self-spin. 1.2 seconds is the closest gap I have between Light and Chapman. Amongst leaders, it's 1.5 seconds between Johnson and Lawson. Lawson trying to hang on to this car and try and finish in 6th. If not, would be a 7th place finish.
Well, if Louis can hang on, this will be his first victory, I'm pretty sure.
Would be his first of the year, you are correct. And then when you look in terms of the Coast to Coast Racing League as a whole, since we began using Sim Racer Hub, this would be his first ever win. Best finish in the past for Louis Meglin, a 4th place finish 6 times in asphalt. 2 at Dover, 2 at Talladega, and 2 at Nashville. He's never finished in the top 3, so we've never gotten a chance to talk with the driver, the number 50.
He was in the league once a few seasons ago, but just came back last season and has really shown well. Always running strong.
This is his 26th start. Only runs asphalt with the Coast to Coast Racing League. Has an average finish of 11.5. And he came into the day only leading 26 laps. On the last lap here at Darlington. And we'll ride on board with him as he cruises home.
Got to be a good feeling is going around here with a nice gap between him and Matt.
You just play it safe.
Been a great race though. Like how many cautions did we have? Just the one, I think. right?
Only
Yeah,
one caution on the day. And here he comes through 3 and 4. Coast to Coast Racing League, put your hands together for another first-time winner. Meglin wins at Darlington. Robinson 2nd. Mateo finishes 3rd. Salas 4th. Smith rounds out your top 5.
There's a couple of guys talking about how glad they are this race is over.
Yeah, they want to get back to their dirt track business.
Or just to another asphalt track. I think it's a hate relationship with this track, it sounded like.
Yeah. While we were at it, let's believe next week is a non-trail race. Both races next week. Actually, the truck race next week, correction, is a trail race, and that is North Wilkesboro.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
So guys are thinking, come on, just get me to Charlotte. That's so abrasive. But while we were at it, while we're waiting for the top 3, your official results from the evening. Meglin wins by 1.2 seconds on Matthew Robinson. Already mentioned your top 5. Colin Johnson hung on to finish 6th. Brian Lawson 7th. Jeremy Tate 8th. Bob Light 9th. Tim Chapman rounds out the top 10. 8 drivers finished on the lead lap. To ride on board with with Meglin in his burnout. I think he's going to burn this baby down until it blows up.
I don't blame him, and I'm not sure about Mateo. Mateo may have been on the podium before, but again, another strong runner that hasn't had a lot of attention, I don't think.
Yeah, we will double check on that. Meglin parks it at the finish line, and we will talk with your top 3. Roger will have to move down to the waiting room because Discord is glitchy today, so I will see you down there in just a moment.
Sounds good.
Alrighty, we'll begin with your top 3. I got to come down here, guys, because our Discord is glitchy today. Start with our 3rd place finisher in John Mateo. John, I want to ask first, is that your first ever podium with Coast to Coast?
No, it's actually my 3rd.
Your 3rd, okay.
It's 2nd in Las Vegas, 3rd in, oh my God, last race I did. I missed
Gotcha.
over, so one before that. And then
All
this
right. Roger wanted to double check in just to make sure. So, but a nice 3rd place run. Walk us through it from your perspective.
Well, I felt like I was fast. I definitely in practice was the fastest. I messed up my pole. Good job, Matt, for that one. Getting that. But ultimately, it was trying to save tires as much as I can and hoping Lewis and Matt would race each other hard enough where I can catch and kind of steal the win from them. But just a difficult track, and especially trying to pass lap cars and all traffic, it's difficult. It burns tires out.
Did you think you had anything possibly for Meglin or Robinson? Because I think before we had pit stops, those two, along with Isaac Salas, were racing each other really hard.
If they kept it up, probably I might have. And if I didn't get my stripe in 1 and 2 a couple times, I might have been at least close, make it a good race. But toward the end of that, my tires were too gone. I didn't have anything for them.
Gotcha. Well, it was a great run for you, man. Who do you want to give shout-outs to?
Everybody, Outlaw Raps for the paint scheme, even though it's not throwback. But them, Coast to Coast for putting on the league. You for broadcasting. Everybody who helps put this league together.
Alrighty, well, we'll let you go. Congratulations. Great run.
Thank you.
Let's go to our 2nd place finisher in Matthew Robinson. Matt, that was a dogfight between you and Meglin. What more did you need?
I needed to keep it off the wall. That was my kryptonite tonight. I was faster in 1 and 2. He was faster in 3 and 4, and I just started pushing way more than I needed to. And the lap cars were tough. I mean, there were not many of them actually getting out of the way.
How tough is this track as a whole? It seems like this wall wants to suck you in. I mean, that's why they always call it a Darlington stripe here, and it showed it.
Yeah, it's all about control, really, from the middle to the end of the corner. And I just a couple times was pushing it too hard.
Definitely understandable there. Other than that, other positives you take away from tonight?
It was good. It was good racing, especially with Meglin. I mean, we had a run in a little bit near the beginning between both of us. But the rest of that, it was pretty clean.
Who do you want to give shout-outs to?
Shout-outs to Turn 1 Racing, C2C, you, obviously Marty, my parents watching, my wife, my kids, everybody that lets me do this and have fun with it.
All right,
Hey,
man. Go ahead, Roger.
Just want to jump in for a second, and Matt, congratulations on getting a car on the podium with the Boston Bruins logo on it. Just saying.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, good run, buddy.
Thanks.
All right, that's Matthew Robinson, our 2nd place finisher. Time to go to victory lane. We will talk with a first-time winner in the Coast to Coast Racing League, Louis Meglin. How does this feel?
Feels pretty good.
Absolutely. How important was it? You just heard it there from Robinson. How important was it to stay off the wall and use that to your advantage?
Yeah, that wall was something for those guys. 3 and 4, I was definitely able to stay out way lower than them, and they had problems in the wall, it seemed, so that seemed to help.
Absolutely. You and Robinson look like you guys had a lot of fun. Back and forth, we're trading the lead. At some points in the race, you guys made some very light contact where one would get loose, but you guys were able to save it the entire way.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty good battle up there. It was fun. Being patient, I think, was key there.
Yeah, absolutely. The pit stop as well, I want to ask, you pitted a lap later. How big of a walk us through that strategy as well to try and get a lap of fresher tires. You nearly beat Robinson out for the lead, too.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to go in that lap, so I just went the next one, and I knew it was going to be close on the way out, and tried to get him. It's just right there, though.
Well, next week, I know Xfinity Trail is off. Well, it's a non-trail race technically. However, though, the truck trail at North Wilkesboro, I assume you're going to be running that race because it's North Wilkesboro and a lot of fun. But what does the outlook look like for that race, possibly? Or for the non-trail either?
Well, it'll be new to me. I've never been on that track, so.
Well, you're probably going to be in for a treat, though, that's for sure. So, before we let you go, who do you want to give shout-outs to?
Papa Bert's Cinematography, the guys at Elevated Esports, Martin Sports, Third Coast Graphics, and then my dad for spotting me every week. It helped a lot to get used to racing like this.
How are we celebrating this first win tonight?
Heading up and going to bed.
Probably a smart idea, so. All right, we'll let you go. Congratulations on this one. Enjoy it.
Thanks.
Louis Meglin in Extreme E-Speed TV Victory Lane, a first-time winner in the Coast to Coast Racing League. There he is at the finish line. So, Roger, as we wrap things up, another good week for the Coast to Coast Racing League. And now we move forward for the Modifieds next week to Port Royal Speedway. And then we've got North Wilkesboro for the non-trail.
Yeah, it's going to be a really exciting week, and we're coming down 3 weeks left in the season, and we got our charity event for week 13. Maybe we'll talk about that next week. Just kind of putting the finishing touches on that one. So, yeah, lots of exciting things happening, and I can't wait.
Week 13, which also means I temporarily come out of retirement to race with you guys for fun.
Yeah, yeah, you do. I'd usually pick up a couple stickers along the way, so that's always a good time as well.
Yes, absolutely. Let's give you your schedule for next week, brought to you by Dylan Westbrook Racing. Monday, for Monday Night Madness, the sprint cars at Williams Grove Speedway. Broadcast time at 8 p.m. Tuesday night, Topside Tuesday, we'll have the Pro Late models at Lincoln and the trucks at North Wilkesboro. That is at 7:45 p.m. on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Monday night also 7:45 p.m. correction there. Wednesday night, the Hometown Heroes at Knoxville Raceway for the sprint cars. That begins at 7 p.m. Later on then is the Cars Tour at Southern National Motorsports Park. And then we mentioned Thursday Night Thunder, small and big blocks at Port Royal, Xfinity non-trail race, and North Wilkesboro. That all starts at 7 p.m. So that'll do it for us on behalf of Extreme E-Speed TV, the Coast to Coast Race League, all the fine drivers and sponsors. Roger Craig and Preston Kramer, Marty Sakala signing off tonight. Congratulations to your winners, Jeff Barker, Isaac Salas, and Louis Meglin. So long, everyone.